Let's start with an image that should be burned into your mind's eye. Imagine a place where the air smells of cheap disinfectant, old concrete, and raw, sticky fear. San Quentin Prison, or perhaps a maximum security facility in Florida. Death row, a place for people who have crossed the line of humanity. Richard Ramirez sits in one of these cells. The Night Stalker, a man who broke into homes, raped, murdered, and painted pentagrams on walls with his victims' blood. He has rotting teeth, a heavy, unblinking stare, and an aura of absolute, chaotic evil. Society isolated him. Society said, "You are a mistake. You are trash." But what happens when the guard brings the mail? Ramirez doesn't get curses. Or rather, he gets them, but they are lost in a mountain of other envelopes. Pink, scented, decorated with hearts. These are letters from women. From nurses, teachers, lawyers, housewives. Women who have never broken the law. Women who live in safe suburbs. They write to him, "I feel your pain. You are the only one who understands me. I want to be yours. I want to have your baby." They send him explicit photos. They spend their savings to hire him the best lawyers. They sit in the courtroom, and when the judge reads the list of atrocities that make your blood run cold, these women look at the defendant with misty eyes. Doreen Lyoy, a magazine editor, saw a photo of Ramirez on the news and fell in love. She wrote him 75 letters. Eventually, they got married right there in prison. She said he was the kindest, gentlest, most vulnerable person she knew. A man who cut off heads, and this is not an isolated case. This is a system. Ted Bundy received hundreds of letters a day. Charles Manson, Anders Breivik each, has his own fan club. This phenomenon is not a glitch in the matrix. It is not mass insanity. Science has given it a name, Hybristophilia. From the Greek hybrizane, to commit an outrage, and philia, love. Popularly, it is called Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. It is an attraction to the beast. And today, we must answer the question that torments millions of men. Why does the beast get love, while the knight gets the friend zone? Now let's move from the prison cell to an ordinary apartment. Here lives our second hero. Let's call him the nice guy. He is the complete opposite of Ramirez. He is law-abiding. He pays his taxes. He respects women. He grew up on Disney movies and rom-coms that taught him a simple formula. Be good. Buy flowers. Listen to her problems. Never argue. Become her best friend, and in the end, you will get the Princess. He follows this algorithm fanatically. He asks for permission before holding her hand. He is afraid to offend her, so he agrees with her every opinion. He suppresses his aggression. Considering it toxic, he becomes as comfortable as an old sofa. And what does he get in return? He gets contempt, often veiled, hidden under polite phrases. "You are too good for me. I am not ready for a relationship with you. Let's stay friends." While the maniac in the cell gets letters confessing love, the nice guy in his cozy apartment gets a text saying his girlfriend left him for a biker who cheats on her and forgets her birthday. This is a paradox that breaks the psyche. Men start thinking, the world is unfair. Women are crazy. But the world is just a mirror of biological laws. If you want to understand why this happens, you have to forget everything your mother, school, and modern culture taught you. You have to go down to the basement, to where instincts that are millions of years old live. We begin our dive at the first level, evolutionary biology. Asterisk the biological imperative. Why does evolution love monsters? The first thing to realize is that we do not live in a civilized world. Or rather, we have lived in it for the last 2,000 or 3,000 years. This is a blink of an eye in the scale of evolution. Our brain, our limbic system, our hormonal reactions were formed over hundreds of thousands of years in the harsh conditions of the savannah. There are no police in the savannah, no courts, no human rights, no concept of abuse or toxicity. In the savannah, there are only two states. You are either a predator or food. You are either the one who has the resources to protect offspring, or the one from whom these resources will be taken. A female reproductive strategy is fundamentally different from the male one. Sperm is cheap. There are millions of it. An egg is expensive. There is only one. Pregnancy lasts 9 months, followed by years of vulnerability when a woman with a child in her arms cannot effectively hunt or run away. She needs a protector. But who can be the best protector in a world without rules? Imagine a tribe in the Paleolithic era. There is male A. He is kind, empathetic, he shares berries, he never raises his voice. He is the nice guy of the Stone Age. There is male B. He is aggressive, unpredictable, capable of cruelty. He has scars. He killed a rival chief with a rock. Who will the woman choose? Modern logic screams, of course A. He is safe. But ancient logic whispers, if a tribe of cannibals comes, male A will start negotiating and we will all be killed. Male B will rip their heads off. Safety for a woman at a deep animal level is not the absence of aggression nearby. It is the presence of aggression that is directed outward to protect the perimeter. A woman is not looking for a safe man in the absolute sense, that is, toothless. She is looking for a dangerous man who is safe specifically for her. This is the essence of hybristophilia. It is not a love for violence against oneself. It is a love for a man's capacity to commit violence. This is called the sexy son hypothesis. A woman instinctively chooses a partner with high-ranking, dominant, even antisocial traits because her genes want her sons to be dominant predators too and spread her DNA further. If she bears a son from a nice guy, his genes are a dead end. He will be suppressed by other males. Let's look at this under a microscope. What happens in a woman's body when she sees a dangerous guy? The sympathetic nervous system activates. A release of adrenaline, norepinephrine, and cortisol occurs. Heart rate increases. Palms sweat. Pupils dilate to gather more information about the threat. Blood rushes to the muscles. Fight or flight response. And now, a surprise. The physiological signs of sexual arousal are identical to the signs of fear. During intense arousal, our heart also races, pupils dilate, and adrenaline is released. In psychology, this is called misattribution of arousal. When a woman feels anxiety near an unpredictable man, her brain often recodes this signal. The brain thinks, okay, my heart is pounding, my palms are sweating, my breathing is shallow. Why? I must want him. Boredom is death to erotics. Safety, absolute safety, is boredom. The nice guy does not cause an adrenaline rush. He is as predictable as the weather forecast. Next to him, a woman's pulse is steady 60 beats per minute. This is good for friendship, for a joint mortgage, for old age. But it kills attraction, the monster, or a man with dark triad traits. Narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy is a roller coaster. Today he looks at you with adoration. Tomorrow he is cold as ice. Now he is gentle. A second later he is rough. This contrast creates dopamine swings. And dopamine is not the hormone of pleasure, but of anticipation and seeking. Unpredictability creates a narcotic attachment. We cannot ignore a darker page of our history. For hundreds of thousands of years, women were war trophies. One tribe defeated another. Men were killed. Women were taken. Those women who resisted the new master to the end died or were abused. Asterisk. Those who could quickly adapt, who could flip a switch in their head and love the aggressor, survived and produced offspring. We are all descendants of these. Women got this adaptation mechanism, which in the 20th century would be called Stockholm Syndrome, is hardwired into the limbic system. An encounter with overwhelming force causes not only terror, but also a strange, paradoxical submission mixed with awe. Of course, in the 21st century, this sounds wild. We don't want to be kidnapped. But we are talking about fantasies, about what happens in the dark of the bedroom or in the depths of the subconscious. The fantasy of being taken by force, kidnapped, forced, CNC, is an echo of those ancient survival mechanisms. It is a way to experience a dangerous situation in a safe context. And when the nice guy tries to act as if these millions of years of evolution didn't happen, as if we are sexless angels living on a cloud, he loses a war he didn't even know he showed up for. Asterisk, the psychology of abdicating responsibility. Why does she want you to decide? But let's be honest. The problem isn't just biology. The problem is that the nice guy is neither nice nor good. Dr. Robert Glover, in his cult classic No More Mr. Nice Guy, exposed the rotten core of this archetype. The nice guy is a manipulator. Only his manipulation is passive. He signs a covert contract with women and the world. It sounds like this: I will hide my flaws. I will do everything for you. I will never get angry, and in return, you are obligated to love me and give me sex. When a woman doesn't fulfill her part of the contract, which she didn't even know about, the nice guy explodes with rage. His kindness is a currency with which he wants to buy intimacy. Women smell this fakeness a mile away. They sense that behind the smile lies neediness. And neediness is the strongest anti-aphrodisiac. The maniac or the bad boy, for all his destructiveness, is honest in his intentions. He takes what he wants. He doesn't pretend to be a friend to get into her pants. This authenticity, even the authenticity of evil, attracts more than fake virtue. A woman looks at the monster and thinks, he is who he is. He doesn't apologize for his existence. Asterisk, a woman looks at the nice guy and thinks, he is trying to be who I want him to be. He has no backbone. If I push, he will break. In the wild, if the environment presses on you and you bend, you die. If a man bends under a woman, her instinct screams, he is weak. Do not breed with him. Let's look at the life of a modern woman aged 25 to 35. It is a life in constant combat mode. Society told her, you can be anything. You must build a career. You must be financially independent. You must develop yourself, go to yoga, invest in crypto, and look great while doing it. Every day she makes hundreds of micro and macro decisions. Send this report now or later. Fire an employee or give them a chance. Buy an apartment or rent. Go to Thailand or save money. What to wear. What to eat. Who to reply to. In psychology, there is a concept called decision fatigue. Roy Baumeister, a famous social psychologist, proved that willpower is a depletable resource. By evening, a person's fuel tank for decision-making is empty. The brain switches to power-saving mode. It wants only one thing, for someone else to take the wheel. And at this moment, when she is squeezed like a lemon after a day of fighting for her place under the sun, our nice guy enters the stage. He thinks he is being gallant. He thinks he is showing respect. He asks, honey, where do you want to go for dinner? He asks, what movie should we watch? He asks, are you comfortable? How about this? And now, do you understand what he is doing? He thinks he is giving her freedom. In reality, he is giving her another job to her tired brain. His question, where shall we go? Sounds like, make another decision. Take responsibility for our evening. Be the manager in our relationship too. He forces her to be the leader, the man, in the couple. And he takes the position of the follower, woman, child. who waits for instructions. This kills libido instantly. A woman cannot desire her subordinate. She cannot be wet for a man who shifts the mental load of leadership onto her. Now look at the monster or the dominant man. He doesn't ask. He notifies. Be ready at 8 p.m. Wear that black dress. We are going to dinner. What happens in her brain at this moment? At first, there might be a second of resistance, the ego testing the frame strength. But then comes a colossal, almost narcotic relaxation. She doesn't need to Google restaurants. She doesn't need to choose. She doesn't need to be responsible for whether they like it there or not. If the restaurant is bad, it's HI's fault. She can just be. She can turn off the inner man and return to feminine polarity. A man's power is not tyranny. In the context of relationships, power is a service. It is a service of removing anxiety from the woman. When she dreams of a strong man, she is not dreaming of someone who will beat her. She is dreaming of someone who will free her from the curse of endless choice. Now let's go deeper, to a topic that is usually kept silent, but which is the foundation of the female sexual shadow. Fantasies of coercion. Consensual non-consent CNC. According to a study published in the Journal of Sex Research, between 31% and 57% of women have erotic fantasies involving coercion. This is one of the most common female fantasies in the world. Why? Does this mean they want real violence? No. Categorically no. Victims of real violence get PTSD, not orgasms. The key to understanding lies in the structure of the female. Super-ego. Socialization for women is much stricter than for men. Regarding purity and reputation. Girls are taught from childhood. Be modest. Don't be a slut. Sex is dirty. Good girls don't do that. Inside every woman lives a strict inner critic who evaluates her every desire. If she initiates rough, dirty sex herself, she takes responsibility for her depravity. The inner critic might say, "You are loose," but if she was forced? Asterisk. If a monster came along who was so strong, dominant, and obsessed with passion that he left her no choice. If he pinned her against the wall, ignoring her weak, playful protests, then she is innocent. It's not me who is bad. It's him being an animal. I couldn't do anything. Violence, in fantasy, is the perfect alibi. It is an indulgence that allows her to enjoy the darkest, most animalistic aspects of sexuality without feeling guilt or shame. She remains the good girl who simply fell victim to circumstances. This is exactly why the nice guy fails in bed. He asks, "Can I kiss you?" In that moment, he forces her to sign a legal document of consent. He forces her to say, "Yes, I want this. I take responsibility for this kiss." For many women, this kills the magic. The monster doesn't ask. He sees the desire in her eyes, which she might even deny with words, and acts. He takes the sin upon himself. And for that, she is grateful to him. There is an interesting psychological phenomenon well known to high-end escort agencies for women and professional dominance. Who are their main clients? Housewives? No. Their main clients are women with colossal power. Business owners, top managers, judges, politicians. Iron ladies. Carl Jung called this enantiodromia, the tendency of the psyche to run to the opposite to restore balance. The more power and control a woman exerts in social life, day, the stronger her unconscious need for submission and loss of control in intimate life, night. The psyche seeks wholeness. If you are a dominant 12 hours a day, firing people and moving millions, your psyche overheats. You need a release. You need a place where you are nobody, where you are a thing, where everything is decided for you. This is called regression. Returning to the state of a child who is taken care of, albeit in a rough form. When such a woman meets a nice guy who looks into her mouth and asks what to do, She sees another employee. She sees a weak link. She will destroy him. She needs someone stronger than her dragon. Someone who looks at her CEO status, chuckles, and says, "That doesn't matter to me." Here, you will do what I say. Only with such a man can she drop her armor. And that moment of dropping the armor gives her more endorphins than closing any deal. Here we approach thin ice. Modern ethics preaches the sanctity of boundaries. No means no. And in a social context, on the street, with strangers, this is absolute truth. Violating this is a crime. But in intimate dynamics, in the space of flirtation and passion, boundaries often exist to be tested. Women often build test barriers, shit tests, to check a man's strength. She says, "I don't meet guys," but stands there smiling, not leaving. She says, "You are arrogant." But her body is turned towards you. The nice guy takes words literally. She said, "I'm tired today." He leaves, apologizing, and goes to watch porn. He respects her boundaries so much that he becomes sterile. The monster, or a man with high social intelligence, reads the subtext. He doesn't listen to words. He listens to the body. He understands. Sometimes I'm tired means a test. Can you ignite me so that the fatigue goes away? Do you have enough energy for both of us? Sometimes no means not so fast, or not here, or convince me, or take responsibility so I can say you seduced me. The danger here is that the line is thin. An unskilled imitator, wannabe alpha, can actually commit violence by not understanding the stop signal. The true predator that women love possesses the highest empathy. He feels the difference between no, play, and nitrogen monoxide, real fear and rejection. The nice guy doesn't feel this difference. So just in case, he fears everything. Another function of the monster is emotional stability. In psychoanalysis, there is the concept of containment. This is the mother's ability to withstand a child's tantrum without falling apart or responding with aggression, but processing their emotions and returning them in a calm form. In relationships, the woman often acts as a generator of chaos, emotions, fears, mood swings, PMS, irrational anxieties. The nice guy tries to solve her emotions with logic. Don't cry. It's illogical, or gets infected by her panic himself. Oh God, you're upset? What should I do? Closing parenthesis. The dominant man, father-king archetype, works as a breakwater. She crashes against him with waves of emotion. She can scream, cry, beat his chest with her fists, metaphorically or genuinely, and he stands. He doesn't wobble. He doesn't try to please her. He doesn't apologize if he's not guilty. He just is. Calm, strong, unshakable. In this calmness, in the face of her storm, lies his monstrosity for her. His imperturbability scares and arouses. If I can't destroy him with my hysteria, it means he is stronger than me. It means I can lean on him. A woman provokes a man, nags him, with one single unconscious goal, to test his durability. Will you break? Will you start screeching back? Or are you a rock? If you break into a scream, you lose. If you start fawning and apologizing, you lose. If you look at her with a slight smirk, take her hands, and calmly say, "Calm down, you win." You passed the test. You are the monster who can tame her chaos. So, we have found out, the woman is tired of deciding. She needs a dictator, in a good sense, who will rid her of the torture of choice. Fantasies of violence are a way to remove guilt for her own lust. The stronger a woman is in society, the more she wants to submit in the bedroom. Male strength is the ability to withstand female chaos without falling apart. But where does this strength come from? Can it be imitated? Or is this quality innate? In the next part, we will break down the archetypal structure. We will turn to Jung's shadow and learn why trying to be a good person makes you mentally impotent, and how integrating your own aggression, teeth, is the only path to true love. Jung and the shadow. Why does virtue require teeth? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist and founder of analytical psychology, gave the world a concept that explains 90% of the modern man's problems. The concept of the shadow. What is the shadow? Imagine that your psyche is a house. In the living room, persona, you receive guests. It is light, clean, pleasant music is playing. There you are polite, smiling, and socially adapted. This is how you want others to see you. But the house has a basement. Dark, damp, locked with a padlock. That is where you dump everything that doesn't fit into your ideal picture of yourself. Your aggression, your lust, your selfishness, your thirst for power, your sadistic tendencies. The nice guy is convinced, if I lock the basement and throw away the key, I will become a saint. He spends a colossal amount of energy keeping the basement door shut. He denies his shadow. He says, I am not like that. I never get angry. I am above animal instincts. But Jung warned, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. The harder you try to be good on the surface, the blacker and denser the monster in the basement becomes. And most terrifyingly, the shadow doesn't disappear. It starts to control you autonomously. It breaks through in the form of passive aggression, sarcasm, sudden outbursts of rage, psychosomatic illnesses, or twisted sexual fantasies. Women are intuitive creatures. They feel the shadow. When they see a nice guy who smiles even when insulted, they don't think, what a holy man. They think, he is lying. He is hiding something terrible. And I don't know when that spring will uncoil. A suppressed shadow is a time bomb. And living on a bomb is not comfortable for anyone. Modern clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson brilliantly developed this thought of Jung's. His phrase went viral, but few understand its depth. A harmless man is not virtuous. He is just weak. Let's break this down. If you are a rabbit and you don't eat other animals, it's not because you are a highly moral creature. It's because you don't have claws and fangs. Your kindness is not a choice. It is incompetence. You are forced to be peaceful because you are prey. But if you are a wolf who has fangs, strength, and the ability to rip a throat out, but you consciously choose not to do so, and instead protect your pack, that is virtue. Virtue requires the potential for evil. You must be capable of violence, but keep that sword in its sheath. A woman cannot respect a man who is safe due to his weakness, impotence of character. She wants a man who is dangerous, but disciplined. This is the solution to the riddle of hybristophilia. A woman looks at a criminal and sees a manifested shadow. She sees power, albeit destructive. He has teeth. He can bite. A woman looks at an office clerk who is afraid to ask for a raise and sees a eunuch. He has no teeth. He will be chewing semolina porridge his whole life. Instinct tells her, better I take a risk with the wolf and try to tame him than die of boredom and defenselessness with the rabbit. And now, the most subtle moment of Jungian analysis. Women also have a shadow. In her basement also live aggression, dominance, cruelty, and dirty lust. But the social ban on manifesting these qualities is even stricter for women than for men. You're a girl. Girls don't fight. Girls don't want rough sex. A woman often represses her shadow so strongly that she ceases to be aware of it. But energy demands an outlet. How can she touch her darkness without destroying the image of the princess? Through projection. She needs a man-screen, a man-carrier. She finds a man with a powerful manifested shadow, a bad boy, a monster, a dominant, and projects her forbidden desires onto him. When he shows aggression, she lives that aggression through him. When he takes her roughly, she connects with her inner slut while remaining a victim. If you are a nice guy without a shadow, you are transparent glass to her. Nothing can be projected onto you. You don't reflect her demons. You are boring. You don't give her access to wholeness, but the monster allows her to experience catharsis. In a quarrel scene where a man shows firmness, hits the table with his fist, speaks in a low voice, sets an ultimatum, a woman often experiences strange arousal. Her eyes light up. Why? Because in that moment, she sees the manifestation of the power she forbade herself. She provokes you not so that you become a doormat. She pokes you with a stick, hoping to wake the dragon. And if the dragon wakes up and growls, she calms down. The world is in order. Strength is in place. Look at the main romantic myth of Western culture, Beauty and the Beast, and its variations. King Kong, Twilight, 50 Shades. What is this story really about? Many mistakenly think it's a story about how a woman turns a monster into a nice guy. No. In the finale of the fairy tale, the beast turns into a prince, but that doesn't mean he becomes a weakling. This is a metaphor for integration. The beast acquires a human form, social skills, but retains his animal power. The meaning of the myth is that Beauty does not fall in love with Gaston, a self-obsessed narcissist, and does not fall in love with her father, a harmless old man. She falls in love with the beast. Her task is to tame the beast, not castrate him. She needs to know that this beast can tear wolves apart in the forest, but will eat from her hand. If you are initially a prince without the past of a beast, you are not interesting to her. There is no mystery in you. There is no potential for transformation. If you remain only a beast, you will destroy her. The ideal is the integrated monster. What does this look like in practice? This is a man who is capable of conflict, but chooses diplomacy, is capable of physical dominance, but chooses tenderness, is capable of leaving and surviving alone, but chooses to stay. The key word is choice. Your goodness has value only when you have a loaded gun that you do not use. If you don't have a gun, your peacefulness is worth nothing. Let's take a modern example. Edward Cullen from Twilight. Millions of women went crazy for him. Who is he? He is a vampire, an apex predator. He tells Bella in plain text, I am dangerous. I want to kill you. My nature demands your blood. What does Bella answer? Does she run away? Call the police? No, she melts. She says, I don't care. Be with me. Why? Because the fact that a predator who can kill anyone restrains his instincts for her alone makes her feel chosen. He could kill the whole world, but he loves me. This is the highest form of female ego trip. This is confirmation of her exceptional value. If you are a safe guy who can't kill anyone, metaphorically, then your love for her proves nothing. You love her because you have no choice. Because she is the only one who agreed to be with you. The love of a wolf is a gift. The love of a sheep is a need. Here we come to a paradoxical conclusion about the nature of trust. Most men think trust is built on predictability and safety. Mistake. Complete trust is possible only towards someone who has power over you. You don't trust the chair you sit on in an emotional sense. You just know it won't break. But you trust the surgeon who holds a scalpel to your heart. He has the power to kill you, but he saves you. A woman wants to feel this scalpel in sex, in life, in decision-making. She needs to know that you could hurt her, emotionally destroy her, leave, find another, dominate physically. But you love her and protect her. It is this knowledge, he is dangerous, but he is mine, that creates that very chemistry that cannot be faked with flowers and compliments. The shadow is not an enemy. The shadow is a source of energy. Without the shadow, there is no sex. Sex by its nature is an aggressive act. It is an intrusion. It is a conquest. It is a loss of boundaries. The nice guy, denying aggression, looks pathetic in bed, because he is afraid to offend the woman with his penis. He is afraid of his nature. The monster accepts his nature, and the woman gratefully accepts him. We have traveled from Paleolithic biology to the depths of the Jungian unconscious. Now it is time for hard practice. Theory without action is dead. In this block, we will break down exactly how to integrate the monster into your behavior without turning into a clown or breaking the law. We will talk about body language, verbal dominance, and that gaze that makes women weak in the knees. And at the end, a powerful teaser for the next topic that will link psychology with physiology. Predator practice. How to become a safe nightmare. The first and most important step in transforming from a nice guy to an integrated monster is changing your speech. Listen to how most men speak. Their sentences end with a rising intonation. It sounds like a question, even if it's a statement. Are we going to the movies tonight? Eyes seeking approval. Maybe you want some tea? Did you like it? This is the speech of a servant. This is the speech of a child afraid that mom will scold him. The monster does not ask. The monster notifies or offers. He uses the imperative mood, but softens it with an intonation of calm confidence. Instead of, "Where do you want to go?" say, "Get ready. We are going to the steakhouse. You will like it." Instead of, "Can I kiss you?" say, or think and do, "Come here. Why does this work?" Remember the block on decision fatigue. When you remove the question, you lift the burden of responsibility from her. Women hate questions like, "Can I?" because by answering yes, she takes on the role of the slut. If you just act, she can relax and surrender to the flow. Practical assignment. For the next 48 hours, forbid yourself from asking permission for small household things and tactile contact. Just do it. Watch the reaction. You will be surprised how much lighter she will feel around you. The touch of a nice guy is sticky, pleading, insecure. He touches her as if afraid of getting burned or getting slapped. His hand trembles. The touch of a monster is a clamp. When you touch a woman, your touch must broadcast one message. You are mine. This doesn't mean leaving bruises. It means there must be weight in your touch. If you take her hand, you take it confidently. If you put your hand on her waist, you do it with authority, pulling her towards you. If you kiss her, you fix her head by the hair or neck, depriving her of the ability to pull away for a second. This is a game on the edge. You create an illusion of a trap. Physiologically, when a male hand firmly fixes a female body, she produces oxytocin mixed with adrenaline. She feels small, she feels protected, and simultaneously, she feels the threat of being eaten. This cocktail of emotions blows her mind. Remember the green light rule. You start pressure. If she doesn't pull away, doesn't tense up, and doesn't say no, you increase the pressure. If you feel resistance, you retreat, but not with apologies, but with a smile. Not now? Okay, I'll wait. This shows that you control your instincts, integrated monster, and not that they control you, maniac. Eyes are the main weapon of remote influence. The nice guy looks away first. He cannot withstand the tension. Looking down shows submission. Looking to the side shows insecurity. The predator looks through. He doesn't blink more than necessary. When she speaks, look straight into her eyes. Don't nod like a bobblehead at every word. Just look, study, evaluate. This creates colossal tension. Pauses in conversation become thick, electrified. The triangle technique. When a pause occurs, look into her left eye, then into her right eye, then slowly lower your gaze to her lips. Linger there for a second and a half, and raise your gaze back to her eyes. With this movement, you said without words, "I want you. I am thinking about how I will kiss you." No sleazy phrases. No awkward pickup lines. This one look triggers her imagination stronger, than an hour-long lecture about your feelings. B.F. Skinner, a behavioral psychologist, discovered the principle of variable reinforcement. If a rat presses a lever and always gets food, it presses only when hungry. If a rat presses a lever and gets food sometimes and unpredictably, sometimes a lot, sometimes nothing, it starts pressing the lever like a maniac. It forms an addiction. The nice guy is predictable. He always gives food, compliments, attention, gifts. His value drops to zero. The monster is unpredictable. Today he gives her flowers and carries her in his arms. Tomorrow he is cold, busy with his mission, and answers in monosyllables. The day after tomorrow, he arranges a passionate date. These emotional swings, in a healthy dosage, make a woman think about you constantly. Why is he cold today? Did I do something wrong? I need to earn his attention. Her brain starts working for you. She invests her emotions in you. Don't be always available. Don't be always online. You must have a mission that is more important than her. A woman wants to be invited into your world of adventure, not to be the center of your world. Humor is the best way to legalize aggression. You can say the scariest things if you say them with the right smirk. You look so good today that I want to steal you and lock you in the basement. Sounds creepy? Yes, but if said by a confident, handsome man in an expensive suit with a half smile, it sounds like a top-level compliment. It is a signal. I am dangerous, but I am playing. It causes that sacred awe. Joke about her. Tease her. The nice guy is afraid to offend the princess. The monster pulls her pigtails, metaphorically, to show you are not on a pedestal. You are just a woman I want. This knocks the arrogance out of her, the crown falls, and makes her accessible for contact. We have reached the finale. Everything you heard today might cause resistance. I don't want to be a manipulator. I want pure love. Why can't I just be myself? You can be yourself. But don't be surprised if yourself turns out to be a lonely man who is used as a crying vest while they sleep with bad boys. The world is not what it was painted to be in children's cartoons. Evolution is ruthless. Women are beautiful, complex creatures driven by ancient instincts. They seek power. Power that will protect them. Power that will free them from responsibility. Power that will give them the ecstasy of submission. This power is already in you. It is locked in the basement of your subconscious, crushed by the fear of social judgment. Your task is not to become a villain. Your task is to go down to the basement, find your inner monster, clean him up, put a collar on him, and take him for a walk. Become a safe nightmare. Become the one who can destroy but chooses to create. And you will see how a woman's gaze changes. You will see boredom disappear from her eyes, and that very fire ignite for which wars were started. But there is one nuance here. To hold this frame, to have this burning gaze and this animal charisma, you need fuel. It is impossible to be an alpha predator if you drain your vital energy into a tissue 3 times a day watching Pornhub. If you are energetically empty, any techniques from this video will look like pathetic clowning. A woman will feel the falsehood. True magnetism is born from tension, from hunger. In the next video, we will break down a topic that is taboo in the modern consumer society: the biochemistry of retention and sexual transmutation. We will talk about how refusing cheap dopamine actually changes the structure of your brain, how testosterone affects your ability to hold eye contact, and why all great conquerors of the past practiced sublimation. You will learn how to turn your sexual frustration into nuclear fuel for success and domination. Subscribe, hit the bell. The darkness is thickening, and you must be ready.